So in your kit you'll have a lighter cord and a darker cord. What I want you to do is measure the lighter cord, and I want you to split that into 3. The full length of the cord, divide that by 3 and cut into 3 equal sections. Once the cord has been divided, then you're going to take one of them and you're going to fold it in half. And the easiest way I find to do this is to get both ends together, and you can just follow it along until it folds over. We're going to take this and we are going to pop the lead hook through the Kumihimo disc so that it is horizontal, and we're going to try and keep that in the middle as much as possible. So I'm just going to hold it there, and I'm going to thread one side through and back up, and then just pull. And this is where we've kind of held the middle bit, so we're just going to pinch it in place, and that is going to go through between number 23 and 24. Still holding the middle in place, and this is going to go the top of the dot on that side, so it's at the top of it on that side and on the bottom of it on that side. Now we're going to repeat the same thing with the next section of cord. This is going to go through and under through the other side. So, and we're going to thread that through the top section, and then it's going to cross over, so it's kind of making an X in the middle, and you're going to pop that in that side there. So we're going to do the next piece of cord, which is again going to be the lighter red, and we're going to thread that through, sort of pinching it where it's in the middle. We're just going to thread that under and then pop it back through. Pulling that until it reaches the middle, and that is going to go through either side of the dots on number 16. Now we're going to take our darker red cord, and this one's going to be a bit more fiddly, so just look for the section underneath, and we're going to push the cord through, and where it's showing there we're going to catch it. We'll loop it over like this, then in between those 2 lighter red bottom cords we're going to push the 2 threads up through the middle of them, and as soon as we can we're going to grab them and keeping hold of this, we're going to pull the darker red completely through, and then we're going to take the 2 lengths that are through there, keep them straight, pull them through this loop all the way through, and tighten that like that, and put them on either side of number 32. So now we're going to start our first lot of movements to start creating the braid. So it's quite simple once you get the hang of it, but how I tend to do it and find it easier is kind of hold the middle section. We're going to take both of these cords out and we're going to move them directly down to either side of the bottom rod. And now we're going to take the middle ones, again, both at a time, and we're going to take these to the top. Now you're going to rotate your disc anti-clockwise, and you're going to repeat the same thing but starting with the bottom cords first. So take both cords out and take them to either side of the top cords, and then the middle cords, you're going to take those out, both of them, keep them flat and take them to either side of this dot. And that is kind of your first movement. So we're going to repeat that again. So you move your disc back to the top where the writing is, and you put the cords back to either side of the dots where we first started. So this is how it's going to look. You can just throw your cords to one side, and we're going to repeat that again. So taking both cords out at the same time and putting them to either side of the bottom. Then taking the middle ones, both out at the same time, and putting them to the top. Now rotating your disc anti-clockwise, and we do the same again, but we start from the bottom this time. So both bottom cords out to either side of the top, and the middle cords to either side of the bottom. And what you're creating is this kind of really flat, smooth transition, and we're just going to repeat that to make the length of our lead. So I'll show you one more time. We move back, and when we move back so that the writing is the right way around, we move our cords back to either side of the dots. So I'm going to continue doing this pattern, and I'm going to go away and finish it until I get to about 1 meter in length, and then I will show you how we're going to do the handle. And as it grows, you will see that there's a pattern starting to emerge. And I would say as you go in, just keep pulling underneath, keep it nice and tight. And we're starting to get these little hearts. So I've got to around 1 meter in length now, which is including the lead clasp, and I'm just going to try and get it in focus here and show you the pattern. And so these are all the little hearts, and then if I turn it over, this side is slightly different. So yeah, it's really lovely for Valentine's Day. And now I'm going to show you how to make a handle which looks like hearts as well. So for this, we need to swap the colours around because we're going to start from a different point. So it might even be better actually if we just do one more transition. As you can see, the darker cords for me are at the bottom, and it would be easier if I could have them at the top. So I'll just do one more. So these darker cords need to be here. So we're just going to swap them round. So taking that darker cord, and this is kind of falling in this one, which is going to be easier. So that's what we're going to do. And sometimes it's just a little bit of readjusting. So as you can see, that the darker one wants to be forward, just to make it a bit flatter when we're doing this handle. So this will be our starting position with the darker cords, the two darker cords at the top here. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this different pattern for the handle. And if you kind of bear in mind that everything is symmetrical, so what you do to one side, you're going to do to the other side. So we're going to start off by taking the cord between 31 and 32 to between 9 and 10. And then we're going to do the opposite. So between 32 and 1 to between 22 and 23. And they cross over. So now between 16 and 17 to between 6 and 7. I'm going to do the opposite. So between 15 and 16 to between 25 and 26. Now you're going to do the top middle, so between 7 and 8 to between 15 and 16. The opposite, which is between 24 and 25 to between 16 and 17. Between 8 and 9 to between 32 and 1. And between 23 and 24 to between 31 and 32. To get back into the starting position, you need to put the side cords back next to the black dot on both sides, and then you're ready to do it again. So we're just repeating that again. So at any point you can go into the settings and you can slow down the speed. So if you find it easier to go at a slower speed so that you can keep up to me, then that's an option in the YouTube video. But we're going to continue this pattern until we get to the length that we're needing for our handle. And again, as you're going along, just pull from the bottom to stretch out the lead pattern slightly. So I'm going to continue with this pattern until I feel as though it's an appropriate size for my lead handle. And the way of testing this is, once you've got to a length that you feel you're happy with, is folding the lead handle over and just checking if you feel as though it's a size that you're happy with and that feels appropriate for you. So I've reached a point now where the handle is a good size for me. So as I said, that you test it, this is where your handle is going to start, and you just kind of fold it over to create that handle and just test if there's enough room. And so I've decided that this is fine for me. So there are two patterns to the handle. There's this side and there's this side, and these are kind of more dainty hearts, and these are a bit more of like an obvious heart. So it's completely up to you which side that you want to use, really. So how we're going to make the handle is we need to take the threads off the disc. So you're going to take a bobby pin and you're just going to remove the cords from the disc and just pinch the cords together underneath. Take the disc off and put the bobby pin through in place. So then we're going to take a flat surface, which is normally easier, and you're going to fold together the handle like this, and you're going to take out 2 of the strands. Now it's up to you. These ones are obviously easier and more accessible because they're the outer strands. I'm going to go for the darker strands. I might even have to just go back to this pattern here and lose that heart. So I'm going to take out the bobby pin, and you see where that's just releasing. Take that out. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to put the bobby pin back into the threads that are underneath, so like that. So you're going to tie your handle off where you can see that the pattern has changed. So I'm going to start it here, keep this flat, and as these threads are here, I'm going to flip it over. And what we're wanting to do is to cover up where the braid transitioned. Get your 2 threads, cross them over, and loop them through in like a simple knot. I'm going to just pull that down, and you're going to tie, and you're going to pull, and you're going to pull as hard as you can and make it as tight as you possibly can. That's the first one. And then you can take the bobby pin out now. You're going to flip it back over the other way, and all these other loose threads, you're just going to pull them out and get them so that they're nice and flat. So we're going to repeat the same on this side. We're going to cross these threads over, and we're going to loop that through, and we're going to tie it as tight as possible and keep it central. So that's that side. We're going to flip it over again and repeat, and again just try and keep the threads on the other side as flat and straight as possible because it'll just make it easier. And we're going to repeat this, I would say around 6 times. Now to finish this off, we're just going to tie some little knots in the bottom of here, and you can just have them as long as you want really. So I would advise to tie them first before you trim them, and I'm just going to repeat this for the rest of them and just try and keep them roughly the same size. And once you've done that, you can just trim the ends of them. You can either leave them like that, or I always like to finish by just taking out these nylon cords inside. So if you just pull them out, and just be really careful with your fingers because you're getting quite close, and just snip the little fluffy bits inside. You've got your hearts on your handle, and you've got your hearts on your lead. So as you can see, here's the rest of the lead with the little hearts, and all that's left to do is add the logo tag to the handle, which I'll show you in a different video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.